Alright guys, Tom Quayle here, hope you're all doing very well. Apologies for not being around. I've been on tour with Martin Miller for quite some time, so not had a lot of time to do content. However, I've got a lesson for you today, a legato lesson, really cool lesson. I'm just going to say up front, this does require really good fretboard knowledge, or at least a good working knowledge of the fretboard. So if that's something that you're struggling with, right now I'm offering $50 off of my ultimate fretboard visualization course that works with my Solo app for iOS users. If you use the code TQM2, that's my guitar, TQM, the number 2, and then the number 50, TQM250, you'll see that on screen right now. At checkout, you will get $50 off that course, so you can go and check that out. So let's check out some of the kind of playing that I'm going to be teaching you to do in this lesson, and then we'll get straight into what the exercise is that's going to help you guys to really develop your ability to improvise cool legato phrases and not lose track of where you are rhythmically. So I've been teaching a lot over the summer as well. It was a very, very busy summer. And one of the questions that came up a lot when I was teaching guys in these summer camps was, how do you keep track of where you are within a legato phrase? A lot of guys find it quite difficult to, when they're improvising legato phrases quite fast, to keep track rhythmically of where they are. They lose their time and it all falls apart. And they can't resolve the line nicely rhythmically, not just harmonically, but rhythmically more importantly. Even over like a one-chord vamp. So I want to give you an exercise today which is going to help you with that. This is a really cool exercise and something I historically have done a lot of. When I've got time to practice, this is something I like to do. And essentially it helps you, as I say, to keep track of where you are subdivision-wise and beat-wise within the bar, so that when you're improvising your legato lines, you never get lost rhythmically. You've always got this really good sense of time. So first of all, why is this difficult? When you're picking all of your notes, you have this inbuilt metronome with the right hand where you can accent or feel the beat as you're playing. So if you're playing 16th notes, if you've got sort of dagga, 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 da, you can naturally, as you're improvising, start to accent some of those beats. So you could... So because you can do that, this inbuilt metronome, it allows you to kind of feel the time much more easily than you can with legato. Because with legato, you can't do those accents. People are not accenting kind of certain hammer-ons and pull-offs to keep the time. You have to internally perceive those accents. And secondarily, if you don't have really good control over your legato technique, you might find that certain string changes get accented because the pick notes are louder than the hammer-ons and pull-offs. And you might find that makes it very hard to stay in time and kind of keep your sense of rhythmic placement where you are within the bar and the beat and the subdivision, because you've got these funny accents popping out. So we need to develop a really good grounding of being able to improvise phrases using legato whilst keeping track of that time where you are within the subdivision. So we're going to start out really, really simple. All I want to do is I want to imagine 16th notes are our subdivision. Now you could do this with any subdivision you like, but I like 16th notes because it's realistic in terms of most tempos as to the kind of subdivision we'd be improvising legato lines with when we're improvising kind of faster lines. So you heard in the intro video, the little jam, some of the lines I was improvising there, they were all based around, I think they were 16th notes. They were certainly high subdivisions. That was at 85 BPM. So yeah, 85 BPM, 16th notes. Improvising lines that flowed, and they were improvised, they weren't kind of set things, and I didn't lose my sense of pulse or time. I was always resolving well rhythmically and keeping that 16th note pulse going. That's the goal, to be able to get to that stage. So we're going to imagine those 16th notes. So we've got like, when we count 16th notes, we imagine 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So 4 subdivisions per beat. And we're just going to think real simple in 4/4 at this point. We don't need a metronome for this because we're going to do it super slowly and we're going to change the tempo a lot. You don't need a drum groove. You just need to be able to count. That's all you need to be able to do. The second thing you need to be able to do is pick a harmonic area. So pick something that's comfortable for you. I'm going to pick C Dorian. That's what I was in before. Okay, so C Dorian is any Dorian scale, anything you're comfortable with is a good choice. Again, coming back to what I said earlier, it's a good idea if you are not good at fretboard visualization that you check out maybe my tutorial, my course, The Ultimate Fretboard Visualization, and the app Solo to help you with your fretboard visualization, because if that's a problem for you, this is going to be a non-starter, this exercise. You must have pretty decent fretboard visualization. So pick something that's strong for you. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start real simple and we're going to play a full beat of 16th notes, so 4 16th notes, and then land on our 5th 16th note, which would be the first 16th note of beat 2. So this would just give us 1 E and a 2. So this is like just a rhythmic cell. Dagga dagga da, dagga dagga da, dagga dagga da. Now don't worry about where this fits in the bar, don't worry about any of that stuff. All we're going to do is get used to improvising 5 notes of our choice within our harmonic framework, and we're going to use legato as our technique, okay? So we're not going to pick all of the notes, we're going to use legato in this case, okay? So that's the style of playing that we're developing here. So it might look something like this. We might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 5-note cell. Get that rhythmic cell in your mind. Da, ga, da, ga, da. And we're just going to maneuver our way around the fretboard, improvising those 5 notes. Just pick them at random, but keep the technique legato based. Okay, so that means that hammer-ons and pull-offs when necessary, and then whatever approach you're using for single notes on single strings. So you might be picking them, you might be hybrid picking them, you might be sweeping them, whatever it is that works for you. For me, it's a combination of picks on the right hand and hybrid pick notes. So I played this. 1 E and a 2. Okay, then I'm just improvising these 5-note phrases within C Dorian. Now at this point I'm in time. Dagga dagga da. Dagga dagga da. Don't worry about that gap there. What I'm actually doing is, if you think about it in time, I'm going 1 E and a 2, rest. 3 E and a 4, rest. 1 E and a 2. Don't worry about that. Don't think in terms of a bar of 4/4. We're just trying to improvise with that 5-note rhythmic cell and keep things coherent. So we're within the scale, we're within the kind of harmonic area that we want. We can do chromaticism, we might go, that would be a little chromatic phrase around the 5 here. Anything that you can do, that's fine, so long as it's harmonically correct for C Dorian or whatever your chosen scale is. And it's a 5-note rhythmic cell. Okay, if you find this impossibly difficult, do it out of time and just pick 5 notes as slowly as you need to. Don't worry about the quality of the phrase that you've played. Don't worry about does it resolve onto chord tones. Don't worry about does it sound good. The exercise here is to be able to, in real time, pick 5 notes and keep the technique legato. Okay, so you might go, then take as long as you need to find the next note, then as long as you need to find, and then that was 5 notes. The thing here is that's really important is don't then take that and try and perfect it. We're not trying to develop really great legato technique here. We're trying to develop a separate skill, which is to be able to improvise 5 notes using legato technique. When you practice your technique as a specifically technical exercise, you should use fixed items, fixed, you know, rhythmic or melodic, sorry, fixed kind of melodic and rhythmic phrases. So you might practice this over and over again. But that's not the goal of this exercise. The goal of this exercise is to be able to improvise these and keep the rhythmic cell the same each time and then be creative with it. So I might take that and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Whatever I want to do, and I can change it up. And again, don't feel like you need to be able to do it this consistency and this in time. I'm doing it really fast here. It could be this. Keep it realistic. Don't do giant jumps all over the fretboard. You know, it's got to be stuff that you could play quite quickly. When you get good at doing a rhythmic cell of 5, so that's 4 16th notes for beat 1, and then the first 16th note of beat 2. Let's expand this now, and we'll do 16th notes for both beat 1 and 2, and then land on beat 3, which would give us 1E and a 2E and a 3. So we're gradually expanding the number of notes we're improvising with legato technique. Da-ga, 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 da. So again, we've got beat 1E and a 2E and a 3. And we're always landing on the beat to make this easy from a rhythmic perspective. So this would be 1E and a 2E and a 3. Okay? And then again, I used a bit of chromaticism. Don't worry about, again, the quality of the phrases. Don't worry about whether they land on chord tones again or whether they sound good. Worry about whether they're in the key though. Worry about whether they're correct harmonically, but don't worry about whether they're cool phrases or not. That can come later. The idea here is to be able to improvise a phrase with this number of notes in, not get lost rhythmically, and resolve properly rhythmically onto beat 3. Now that wasn't a legato phrase, so I'm going to ignore that one. That was kind of like a bluesy rhythmic phrase. If that kind of thing happens and you fail to play legato, don't worry about it. It's still a good exercise, but the idea is here that we want to be able to do this so that when we start to get faster, if we've got... you can still keep the rhythmic cell. Sorry. So on and so forth. Dagga, 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 da. You can hear that I'm improvising phrases using legato and always resolving in the right place rhythmically. When you've got that down, you feel comfortable with that in various different harmonic areas, you can keep the lines fresh and interesting, then you can transition to play across landing on beat 4. So that would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. Dagga, 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 da. So dagga, 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 da. Let's do it there. Again, C Dorian. Dagga, 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 da. Now again, for anybody who's wondering, like, how am I coming up with these lines, I do actually have on my website, tomquayle.co.uk, 3 legato tutorials. If you check out Modern Legato Part 3, the third part, that will actually show you some of the ways that I'm thinking about constructing these lines. But I don't want to go too far down into that rabbit hole right now because this is entirely up to you as to what your vocabulary is. If you want to check out the way I think about vocabulary for legato, you can check out Modern Legato Part 3 on my website. I'll leave a link down below for that. You don't necessarily need parts 1 and 2. Part 3 stands alone somewhat, but you can check that out as well. But for now, all I'm interested in is, can I keep that rhythmic cell the same every single time and not get lost whilst improvising a phrase? It's really important to understand I'm not playing preset phrases here. They're not kind of fixed entities. I'm improvising them as much as possible. And then finally, of course, what you would do is you would go for the full bar. So you would have 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Dagga, 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 da. Now this is a lot of notes to keep track of and improvise, but if you can do this, it means that you can really start to improvise longer phrases and not get lost. So it might sound something like this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, one more. Dagga, 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 da. Now again, you don't have to do it that fast. It could be... But by the time you get to this stage, maybe, hopefully, you can actually do them in time like this, okay? Whereas at the beginning stages, when you're only playing 5 notes, maybe it's the case that you're having to think about it a little bit more and kind of not play in time, okay? So, that's the exercise. It's super, super cool. Just one quick tip that I think I've mentioned before on YouTube somewhere in a legato tutorial. One really cool thing to do is to put these rhythmic cells into a DAW, like Studio One or Logic or Cubase, whatever you use, Reaper, and then shift them by 1/16th note. So as opposed to dagga 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 da to 3, you might get ba dagga 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 dagga. Okay, that was the offbeat 16th note. So you can shift them by 1/16th note. It's a really cool exercise that you can use. So I've done this with a lot of students over the years, and they find it really useful in terms of developing their ability to stay in time and understand where they are in terms of 16th note subdivisions. You could do this with triplets if you wanted. Obviously, if you do it with triplets, you'll end up with like groupings that are even, weirdly. So you'd have, if you were going to do this with triplets, you'd end up with the triplet, the first beat of the triplet would be, if you were doing, let's say, 16th note triplets, you would have 6 notes in the first beat, and then the 7th note would be beat 2. So you might go dagga da dagga da ga, dagga da dagga da ga, okay, and then you'd start to improvise with that. So it might be 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be triplets, you know. Then you might expand that. 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing the same exercise there. Dagga da 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 da. Ending on beat 3 there, okay? So again, for anybody out there whose fretboard knowledge is the thing that's going to let them down here, check out the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course along with Solo. You can use the code again, TQM250, so that's TQM2, the guitar, and then 50, the number 50, and that will get you $50 off the course for the next couple of weeks. Check that out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the lesson. Again, you can check out Modern Legato Part 3 down below as well if you want to check out more about how I'm constructing these lines. And I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and obviously hit the bell notification icon. My name's Tom Quayle. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.